So what's up, YouTube? You don't need sleep. The natural position for your eyes is closed. When you keep your eyes open, that is when you're burning the fuel. When you keep the eyes closed, that's when you can stoke the fire. That's when you can start to generate light, or realize light, rather, however you want to look at it, or not look at it. But you do not need sleep, and you don't need to eat. So that's how you quit. That's how you quit sleeping. Eventually, you stop eating if you start breathing more. The more you breathe, the less you want to eat. So then you'll just, because that's the way to sleeping. Sleeping is basically because you eat. You're eating, and then you're gonna need water because you ate food that dehydrated you, and then the water, you're gonna need to balance the pH of the body, and usually most people aren't gonna have enough energy to be conscious for that. So they require sleep in that process of balancing the elements. But if you're an alchemist and you breathe, then you no longer need to eat as much, and then you gradually reduce, and the void gets smaller and smaller. As you develop fully, the void is big, then you realize there's no separation, the void gets smaller and smaller, and then you realize that all food just reminds you of the energy that's already there. And so everything's already here. It's more so just about realizing it, and then you just realize the abundance. So that's just the process of realizing the inner alchemist, so that you can even fathom another way of being. So let me keep my screen fresh. Always got to jump into things crazily. 2020 Tantra on Amazon, info in the description. Always got to run into things like that because people, I guess they need the shock value, but it's not really a shock. You don't need to sleep. The natural position is closed eyes. That's how you can charge up. It's just people are going into unconscious breath work because they are eating food that blocks organs from breathing. So then you can't stay the organs are consciousness. So when you block them, you can't stay as conscious in your body. You're separating you from you because you're blocking the flow of breath. And the breath is your true identity. The bodies are really, again, concentrated breath. The breath looking at itself, concentrating. The body is concentrated breath. So the identity is the breath. So you're not letting you flow through you. And that the food just blocks you from flowing through you. So each breath will take you to the next one. So there's never any lack, and there's always enough alchemy to get to the next state or the next element, and you just get to the next. It's never any lack. It's just all about realizing, having a presence to realize, and closing your eyes, resetting, and then forgetting who you are, staying in the center of the circle and forgetting, so you can, because that's the breath work does. It makes you forget. When you know, that's trauma. You're infinity. So when you think you know something, that's that movie overlaying what you're viewing, the now. You're either owning or nowing. Own or now. So you're owning this movie, this concept of yourself, this heaviness that is your identity. It's a false identity, so it's heavy. So then you just grow in water weight because you have to eat to support that parasite, persona that you created to create a buffer between you and your own emotions and between other people and your essence, because you feel separation, so you feel you need to be defensive. So you emotionally put that buffer up, then you eat emotionally, and then you take on more water weight because of it. So the no sleep thing is a gradual thing. You start sleeping every other night, and you're going to gradually reduce the sleep until about 4 hours a night, from like 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., and then eventually you just reduce that, and then you're only sleeping like every other night. And then you just keep reducing. It's the reduction process of, just realizing the abundance, and then then the void just continues to get smaller and smaller, and then that which has no form can enter where there is no space. So then the void is totally full because it's totally empty. When the body is totally empty, or when you fast, or what people call fasting, then filling it is nothing. It's so easy to fill it. So then breathing is, it's really just light. Ocean. It's a breathable ocean. So that's really about it. Shout out to Roby Cantu for that. So yeah, that's the default position is closed eyes. That's the natural position. Opening your eyes. Not to say it's unnatural, but there is a harmony to opening your eyes. Like people are having the different angles to solar gaze. That's when you can charge externally. and look at yourself externally, it's still internal always, though. You're still looking with the first eye, you know. So you're looking at the projection, which is never, because the eyes pick it up and then send it to the first eye, or the first eye is projecting it, but the eyes are perceiving it and then sending it to the brain to be perceived. So what you're watching is never, by the time you saw it, it's already moved vibrationally because everything's in motion. And the stillness is what causes that motion. And God is the stillness. It is the light. And if you align with the stillness, then you align with the light. It's totally, it's non-biased. The light is, it casts light evenly on everything. And if you align with the light, then you can align with the immortality that comes with it. But, you know, I don't want to get into a duality thing, because to say that there's a wrong way is to create a duality, and I never really want to do that. It's integration or disintegration, I guess. If you have any duality that you want to put into your life, people are either integrating with the harmony that is present, or they're disintegrating, and that's just separation, creating separation within themselves to create a hierarchy, or separation with other people to create classism. Because you don't want money. You want people to not have money so that they have to do the things you want them to do. It's just, that's why money is dead. That's why it produces lack, or to focus on it produces lack. Because money is the ghost of currency. But anyway, let me get into something else. Anyway, from womb to tomb, you go through your ego funerals. Every external funeral is an ego funeral. So that's, you never die. In the third person, or when anyone dies, or whenever you see the perception of death, that's you really dying. That's, you know, or the ego dying, however you want to look at it. But that's you dying and returning to the source, which is you. So you're always viewing it from the third person perspective. You never die. You know, people come and go. You stay at the center of the circle. People come and go, and as they realize themselves, they meet you, because they're meeting themselves and they meet you. That's as if you're the Tao. Because you got like a group of souls that you can meet that are in the light spectrum, from integrating to disintegrating, from dark to light, from black to white. There's no separation in it, but if you stay at the center of the circle of nothingness, then you can realize that there's this archetypes from, you know, dark to light and all the shades and everything. And then as everything makes its transition from dark to light, it's going through its process of meeting itself, you. So you don't have to budge, you don't have to go anywhere. Everything's coming already. So again, like I said, all the memories in life just continue to repeat. And when people merge, they're just merging memories. Whenever you mate with someone, you're just merging memories. The memories that your ancestry have, you just merge them, and then you watch that movie from a different perspective. It's either more complimentary or more offensive, more separation, more pain. So, it's never what you do, but how it's done. The movies continue, or the memories are just here for observers to observe. So when you fall from the heavens, because the stars are points of separation. So that's, the gods, they create the first sense of separation. The stars, that's where the angels are falling from. So then you're falling into a further state of separation, into the female, into the feminine, from the Heavenly Father into the Mother Earth. And then you're getting chewed up by the Mother Earth and being excreted through shoot, or however you want to look at it. So that is, because you are fertilizing a woman when you impregnate her, because you are God's excrement as the body. The body's God's excrement. It is the exhaust. It's the ghost, basically. So you fertilize a woman. A woman is fertilized by a soul. The man is impregnated first. The dead, or which are really alive, they come through the male. He, comes, or whatever. He goes through the female, or however you want to look at it. So that which is already alive and conscious is coming through into unconsciousness through the masculine, a state of unconscious, a level from nothing to masculine is a step down from complete consciousness, and then you're going into complete unconsciousness, going from nothing to knowing to flowing. Flowing is total unconsciousness, female, feminine. That's you're going through that process of falling into separation. Then you go reach full separation. At that point, it's no different from full unity as far as the sensation or lack thereof. But true love or no separation is zero resistance internally. When you have zero resistance internally, then that's true love. That's your point of reference for the center of the universe And as you follow that, then that path will take you to the center of your universe, or however you want to look at it. So, I know that's a little bit off track here, but I'm going to just go into a bunch of things because I got a bunch of time here. So cleanliness is next to godliness. So the source can't be disgraced. It can't be brought into disgrace. It can't be withdrawn from or approached. It can't be benefited. Nothing, like it is. It just is. The source that is you, it can't be dirty or clean. That's a concept. Just like you can't be naked. That's a concept. That's all your perception. So as far as that, cleanliness is close to God, or how close to the source. But again, it's just like the Tao Te Ching, like a kind man is always doing things. A clean man is still living in that perception of I have to clean something up, instead of realizing that the truest will is always at work and always, doing the cleaning in the overall harmony, and everything is perfect and you don't have to do anything. You just have to observe. You have to just observe attentively as possible. So, so any toying with your imagination is drugging. Whenever you play with the magi inside or the imagination, that's drugging. So any person, place, or thing that does that, that's a drug. So there's no questioning if you're clean. Your imagination, or what the visions you get, the visual thoughts you get, the right brain thoughts you get, those, if you are clean and you're not being fed images through these crystals that are offensive and suggestive, if you're not being fed that, then your line, your channel is so clear, so you don't have to question any of the visuals. And the visuals are closer to the source. The auditory thought is closer to the body. That's closer to separation. That's closer to the beast. That's that thinking in language. You don't think in language. You ain't not born with a language. So that's more so trained. The visual thoughts are more so from the center. So not to totally destroy or neglect the auditory thoughts, but just to realize that what's going on here. That everything has its place. So slow, souls get slow, they don't die, or they're never born. So there's no humans on earth. Everybody's just a soul that got slow. And again, this is the slow dream. This is basically your slow dream. Your real dreams and your astral body, or whatever you want to call it, those, you're really, if you have a human body and you crystallize to this point, that means in those supposed dreams, or what you call that, that's when you're chasing and being a slut and becoming numb. Then you fall into physical form, and then you chase and become a slut and become numb and all that. And then as you return to your source, then you prepare the body for returning to itself. And then you become more still in your life, and you become more still in your dreams, and then it's alignment between astral and earth body, or ethereal and earthly body. That is a closer. Earthly and ethereal is a better one because they got the similar letters. So, nothing exists. Things merely insist. So things either neglect the source, they chase the source, or they realize the source. Either you totally ignore, either you feel like the source is outside of you and you chase it, or you realize it, and you realize that it's in you and that there's no separation, and that you are the source, and then you have no identity, and then you can never be grasped, and there's no boundary for you. So you don't have to take any credit, because you're what gives credit. Because either you see or you'll be seen. That's your choice as far as duality, I guess. You can be seen, be the crystallized prism, and have an ego and a pride and separation, or you can see and stay in the darkness and in the unity and the harmony and the angelic harmony. All right. So if you do have a physical body, regardless, you are in desire, because you went into it. You desire the body to fix something. So you got to align with, because if you're in a body, that means you're having sex in the quantum sense. So to get beyond this human experience, you have to embrace everything that comes from womb to tomb. So your sex, you have to align with the correct sex, the original sex, the Adam and Eve sex. If you align with that, then you see no separation at all from the initial beginning creation. You see no separation in that. If you're your true self and you fill your cup, she fills her cup, and you are the reflection of Adam and Eve directly, it doesn't matter how far you are away in the shattered mirror of things, you still are in direct alignment. Then you feel the oneness, and then you return to the source. You You get closer and closer to the source. And all you have to do is set up the trajectory. Again, if you plant the right seed, then you'll wake up in a dream or your next lifetime atop the family tree or the silicon tree, however you want to look at it, for my no force on flat earth folks. Oh, I got a bunch of stuff I wanted to say too. I got some meme stuff I wanted to say too. So, again, sleep is suffocation. Any substance is pretty much suffocation. It's, anything that brings about unconsciousness is a drug. It's either you're either raping or accepting. So, if you want to be awake and you want to accept life, then you're being awake and you're being conscious. If you want to be unconscious, then you're raping your body, you're being raped, and your sex becomes controlled rape. So, any substance, like if you're suffocating your body, sleeping on your stomach, whatever you're doing to limit your breath to where you pass out, that is also a substance. And you're always in yoga in a sense. So, or in an asana, I guess I should say. So need is unattractive. So there is never any lack though, only lacklusters. Anytime you have need, that is the most unattractive state. So the most relaxed state is the most attractive state. So as a healer, person that's healing themselves, you point to the love that remains. You point to the love that remains. The sick part of you or the sickness is always going to point to what seems to be missing. It's always going to point to the lack. Whatever points to the love that remains and the blueprint that remains is the healer in you. And that is what's restoring you so that it can perpetuate, because that's you. And that's what's been teaching you your whole life. And that's the child you'll have and merge with and reincarnate with into the new old original template. It's the new old original. And then you continue to perpetuate into infinity, and there's no holding on to any identity, but you still know the source. But you need gradual changes to be infinite. It's just you got to gradually rearrange the elements to stay in infinity and you can enjoy a physical body infinitely. It doesn't have to be what people think it has to be. So, anyway. Okay, so sex itself, when you exhale, you are exhaling heat. And there's a heat signature to that, and that is a spirit. So there is only one breath, but when you toss that exhale back and forth, you're passing whatever cosmic energy is with you, as far as your ancestors and what the moon is doing, what sign it's in that day, Mercury, everything. Whatever the alignments are, that's the cosmic energy you're breathing in and out. So that's what you're there to play with. So when you're basically passing a soul back and forth through each other. And you just got to be careful with that. Just got to respect that. Because you're tossing the ancestors back and forth. Okay, so you either have conversation, true conversation, or you have exhaustion, which is talking. So that's the difference between talking and conversation. Conversation is evolving. Talking is devolving and exhausting and creating separation and feeling the need to create an agenda and talk and to make points. Because points are separation. And wise men don't prove their points. Men that try to prove their points aren't wise. So, in general, when you're converting, you want to talk from a place of love. Or you don't want to talk from... People in general only speak from a place of love. So you have to talk to them within a period in their life when they were experiencing love, and then they'll talk to you, or they'll have conversation, They'll have conversation when you're speaking about matters that fell into those periods in time. So if a guy had a great year in 1998, and he experienced love, he can converse with you about those experiences, and you can evolve, and he can evolve, and bounce those things off, you push on each other, and then, you get contrast and you evolve, and then once you appreciate the contrast, and that's what evolution is. That's how you pierce the void. Is appreciation of the contrast. So, when the love stops, like say circa 1999 for somebody, then that's when they start talking and exhausting, and then everything they have to say is pretty much negatively charged. So, let's see what we got here for us. Let's see what the source wrote down through Taylor. So, a dream within a dream. Dreamers forget that they're sleeping. So you continue to dream, you continue to invest in unconsciousness, you need more sleep per day, more and more sleep, less output, and then, because if you feed, then you're fed. So, and the way to feed is to fill the void by producing, production, breathing, letting life flow through you, letting the cosmic energy flow through you. Then it's effortless work, because then the cosmic energy is doing what it already wants to do, and then it's just flowing through you if you're sensitive enough to receive like that. You know, if you let your cup get that clean, because every breath is like mist in the cup until the cup is full. So people are investing into unconsciousness with every breath, and then that makes them go to sleep, and then they don't realize that they're in a dream, and then they continue to go to sleep in a dream within a dream within a dream, and then they just wake up older and older, 40 years down the road or something. So it's all about the identification, man. You know, the center of the circle never dies. So if you ID with limitation, then you're just producing more limitation, because you're just a producer of what you identify with, pretty much. And everything you eat, and everything is the breath, in general. You know, and to evolve, you have to selflessly give. Everything that's trying to evolve or that is evolving is selflessly giving. So the fruit, as you eat something like fruit, it's evolving as it reaches your human consciousness. It's evolved. So in that state, you get the fruit energy, and it's an exchange. Everything that gives takes equally, though. Don't get me wrong. But with that plant energy and that exchange, as you exchange consciousness, what did you do with that energy? Did you invest into unconsciousness or for the world, which is you, or did you invest into consciousness? Did you take steps towards reduction? Because that's consciousness. The more that you try to grasp things, the more you're trying to hold on, get under, then the more weight, and then the more you're crushed. It's always about letting go of things. You know, the more you let go, then the more you can fly, the more you can breathe. So you give to evolve. You know, and it's you're never hungry, yet always feeding if you breathe properly. So it's just about the acceptance, and that's how you can properly absorb. When the body is in an acceptance state, in that parasympathetic, deep parasympathetic, then in that nervous system state, then you can absorb, and you can yield to life, and then nothing is separate from you. So then you just grow, and your humility grows, and then it's just trust. And no one can even get near you unless they have a certain level of trust, or they purge themselves. So that's really about it. I think that's about it for today. Let me give y'all this last meme that the source told y'all told me to give y'all. Oh yeah, like I was saying, with the aligning with Adam and Eve, you're going from oneness to two-ness, because you're filling your cup. That's oneness. When your cup is full, that's oneness, and you experience no separation when your cup is full, and you share the abundance. Then from there, you grow beyond the identification with this one body, which allows you to evolve beyond the human experience. So then you can align with your external you and be selfless, and then totally telepathic, empathetic if you're really clean. So then the two-ness goes back to one, because you have a child, which is a time machine or portal that you sent your consciousness through. So that's how the one basically implodes, and the one basically implodes. The nothingness is all around, and you got this egg, which is a concept, I guess, which gets fertilized, and in that fertilization process is light coming into, or there's something coming into the trap void. So then that light fills up the void. It's just the one basically implodes itself. There's never expansion. It's an implosion of the one. Its reduction is production. So the one implodes and fills it, so it fills itself with its reflections through that implosion process. It's going in. The one is going in. It's never going out. It's never chasing. The one is always going inward, and it's going deeper and deeper inward. So it fills the void with its reflections, and that's the process of going in and just realizing that there's no separation, and that all reflections are you, and that it's all just ripples. So you get what you give. Let me give y'all one last parting thought, though, at 24 minutes or whatever. Something up the Instagram. You guys should follow me on Instagram. I don't see why you guys don't. At this point, this video is almost like a podcast, because it's pretty long, too. And I know you guys seen the DMT thing, how DMT is produced in the lungs. Now, that video, people was attacking me for so long about me saying DMT was, the breath is DMT, or that's what triggers the DMT. Controlling and breathing to one or less breaths per minute consciously, and then your body gets relaxed enough to release DMT, and then you have you pierce the void. So that's why, natural release. I always endorse that, but people always want to go outside themselves, so they attack me. So that's just how it goes. But I still love though, regardless. It's just retarded love. But I just wanted to say that real quick, and just this last part. The source is the unbiased light that sorcerers pass to each other because they see no separation. Those that seek separation can only burn out because the separation creates fear, which creates greed, which creates lack. This creates a situation where nobody can pass the torch and you can't receive it from anyone because you have no one to pass it to. This unbiased light is shed evenly on all that realize it. Aligning with the light or the source is aligning with supreme perspective. Supreme perspective removes all lack, because then you see everything from this detached perspective, but everything is you. So you're immersed but detached, so you can see it all, so there's never any lack. You see the yin and the yang in their angelic intercourse. The angelic intercourse creates the physical intercourse. So supreme perspective removes all lack. It removes. It puts the lack back in harmony. 2020 Tantra on Amazon. Info in the description.